The next evening at Haymarket Square. Haymarket Square was an open-air market by day. By nightfall on May 4th, the pushcarts were gone. Chicago's popular mayor Carter Harrison was there and made certain the crowd saw him. It would ensure order.
It was a fairly peaceful rally. I mean, the anarchists were saying things that they always said, death to the owner class, revolution. Mayor Harrison rode up and everybody yelled, huzzah, huzzah, Mayor Harrison, and he took his hat off and he waved it to people, and it was a little campaign thing, and he stayed at the back, and the police captain, Captain Bonnefeld, came up and said, what should we do with this rabble, sir? And he said, basically, let them speak. They've said many worse things than they're saying tonight, and there's no one here. And he said, I'm going to go home. And he goes home.
Captain Bonfield dismissed most of his men. Not all. The last speaker, Samuel Fielden, remembered the men shot at the McCormick Works. The law is framed for your enslavers, he said. Throttle it, kill it, do everything you can to impede its progress. Bonfield considered this inflammatory. He ordered the police to march. Fielden was winding down. He that has to obey the will of another is a slave. Can we do anything except by the strong arm of resistance? War has been declared on us. People have been shot. Defend yourselves. No one noticed the man lurking in the shadows. Any animal will resist when stepped upon. Are men less than snails or worms? In the name of the state of Illinois, I command you to disperse, the police captain said. But we are peaceable, Fielden protested. Seven policemen were killed, mostly by friendly fire. The Chicago Times called the workers ragtag and bobtailed cutthroats of Beelzebub from the Rhine, the Danube, the Vistula, and the Elbe. Labor's largest paper called them wild beasts. The respected Albany Law Review called them long-haired, wild-eyed, bad-smelling, atheistic, reckless foreign wretches.
It was front-page news around the world. Remember, Chicago is the world's window into the future. People from around the world really saw it as what city life was going to be like for them, perhaps 10 or 20 years down the road. And when you got into the labor violence, what appeared to be proletarian riots, it was very frightening to people in many places around the world.
Throughout the nation, Americans were almost unanimous in favor of the utmost repression of the anarchists. There was a belief that American civic institutions were being threatened to their core. Foreign-born workers under the leadership of anarchists were seen to be a threat of the first order.
The very next day, martial law was declared in Chicago. A law is passed saying that no more than 2 people can be standing on a street corner to talk. If there's 3, you can arrest them. And homes are entered without search warrants. All the union newspapers are closed down. Literally hundreds of labor leaders are put in the different city jails.
After Haymarket, the city went crazy. This is a real red hunt, and it's the first American red hunt. They know that everyone they're rounding up is not an anarchist. They're rounding up labor agitators. They're out to crush the labor movement, which is the threat here, more than the anarchists. They can handle them. They can hang them and shoot them. In many ways, this is, for them, an opportunity. They can paint them with the brush of anarchism and go after them like that.
They didn't belong to the human race, poet Carl Sandburg, a child at the time, would recall. They seemed more like slimy animals who prowl, sneak, and kill in the dark. I didn't hear anyone in our town who didn't so believe. 8 were charged with murder and conspiracy. They included Albert Parsons, who had fled to Wisconsin, but returned.
Here's a man who's rather naive, don't you think? He sits up there in Wisconsin and he says, well, this is America, and the justice system will prove me to be right. And so I'll come down, I'll talk about anarchism, I'll explain that I was 5 blocks away in a tavern with my wife, and the jury will, let me go.
Judge Joseph E. Gary presided over the trial.
Well, there was such fury about the case that there was no effort made to find a fair jury. The bailiff was sent out to find people and bring them in as potential jurors, and of course he found people who were deeply prejudiced. It wasn't hard at the time, and I'm sure the bailiff rejected anybody who showed any sympathy.
That mere fact that they were even being tried at all when the bomb thrower wasn't known is just a travesty. How can you even prosecute somebody for conspiracy if you don't have any evidence that they were together with the person that threw the bomb or that committed the crime?
Only 2 of the anarchists were at the scene, and they were both on the so-called podium in full public view. Somebody threw that bomb, but nobody had any idea who threw it.
Anarchy is on trial, the prosecutor said. Gentlemen of the jury, convict these men, make examples of them, hang them, and you save our society. The verdict was guilty. The sentence, death by hanging. 3 asked for clemency and got life in prison. 1 blew himself up in jail with a cigar bomb.